Welcome back, true believers and all you spectacular Spidey fans, to another very exciting episode of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 101. And at the time of this recording, the opening night live ceremony for Gamescom has pretty much come and gone. And as we expected, considering that it was announced ahead of time that PlayStation was not going to be attending this event, is that we did not end up seeing any type of new trailer or gameplay footage pertaining to Marvel's Spider-Man 2 during the festivities. But on the bright side, it sounds like that we now know exactly when and where we might be able to expect brand new Marvel Spider-Man 2 information and potential gameplay footage to drop relatively soon. And it just so happens to be sometime this week. And if that wasn't enough, we might have also received our first tease as to what we can expect for the future of Insomniac's Spider-Man franchise following the events of Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And even though the game hasn't even officially released yet, it certainly sounds like that Insomniac is showing no signs of stopping when it comes to working on massive gaming titles within the world of Marvel. So if you're beyond hype like me to see even more footage of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and see what the future of this franchise holds, then definitely be sure to thwip that like button and subscribe to the channel for any major Marvel Spider-Man 2 news and updates. So as I previously stated, is that the opening night live ceremony for Gamescom did not show any new Marvel Spider-Man 2 footage whatsoever. But what is interesting is that we did receive this post a day before the Gamescom event took place from none other than PlayStation Canada, where they went on to post on social media that PlayStation will be at Fan Expo Canada this year. Swing by and join us. Hashtag be greater together. So yeah, in a total surprise announcement out of nowhere, it looks like that PlayStation will in fact be officially attending the Canadian Fan Expo this week from August 24th through August 27th. And as for what exactly they might end up showing for Marvel Spider-Man 2 here, we do have a small inkling as to what that could be. Where if you do go on the Fan Expo Canada website, you will be able to see an entire list of guests that will be attending this year's show. And it just so happens that one of the biggest cast members of Marvel Spider-Man 2 will be there throughout the entirety of the convention, where Fan Expo Canada is going to be featuring our main man Miles Morales himself of the one and only Najee Jeter, where primarily on Friday, August 25th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, Najee Jeter is going to have his own panel titled A Lively Chat with Najee Jeter, where the description of this panel itself specifically states, "Join us and hear from the always super Najee Jeter." Now, unlike what we previously saw with the San Diego Comic-Con panel, is that entire Hall H presentation was specifically dedicated to Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Whereas for the case here for Najee's panel, it's mainly going to be focusing on Najee himself, rather than specializing in the main game of Marvel's Spider-Man 2. But regardless, I am sure that there will be people who will ask him questions about the game, so we will more than likely hear more information from Najee about his work on Marvel's Spider-Man 2 as Miles Morales sooner rather than later. But as for whether or not we could end up seeing a brand new trailer or some gameplay for Marvel's Spider-Man 2 from PlayStation themselves during the Fan Expo is still up in the air. However, it's certainly shaping up to be an event that you should definitely keep your eyes on. And with only less than 2 months to go until the worldwide release of Marvel Spider-Man 2, I'm sure the marketing will start to pick up relatively quickly. But moving on from Fan Expo Canada, this now brings us to the future of Marvel Spider-Man 2 and exactly what Insomniac has in store for us Marvel Games fans after this game ends up releasing in October. Now, all credit for this amazing news does go to the one and only Deeper Depths on YouTube, who I have been lucky enough to collaborate in the past on his incredible channel, and you should definitely go and follow and support as much as you can, especially if you want to be caught up to date on any major Marvel Spider-Man 2 news or any other massive scoops that might be revealed for future Marvel games down the line. And if you haven't seen his video about this news, then I will be sure to leave it as a link in the description below, and you should definitely go and check it out for yourselves before you watch this one. But the short and sweet version of this news is that the Deeper Depths was able to meet one-on-one with Najee Jeter, and during this meeting, he wanted to schedule an appointment with Najee as to when he might be able to attend as a guest on his podcast. And knowing how nice of a guy he is, Najee gladly accepted the offer. But what's interesting is that he did message the Deeper Depths through email saying that him, Yuri Lowenthal, and Tony Todd will all be busy working on an upcoming project that is set to release sometime next year in 2024. And given everything that we know that Insomniac is currently working on within the Marvel Universe, as well as knowing how popular popular the Spider-Man IP is, I think that this collaborative project that Naji, Yuri, and Tony are all working on together could be one of three possibilities. The first one, which I think would be the most obvious, is potential DLC that is going to be attached for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. However, as it stands right now, Insomniac haven't said anything official about potential Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC that will continue the narrative of the base game, similar to what we saw in Spider-Man PS4 with the City That Never Sleeps pack. But this time around, instead of being 3 separate DLC chapters like what we saw with the City That Never Sleeps, I actually think that Marvel Spider-Man 2 might end up having DLC, but it might be in a similar vein to what we saw with a previous PlayStation Studios title with Horizon Forbidden West, and the epilogue to that game's core story with Burning Shores, which in comparison was a massive DLC expansion that not only continued the narrative of the Horizon story, but it also added brand new characters, missions, weapons, and even a brand new area to fully explore. So if we were to see any type of DLC attachments for Marvel's Spider-Man 2, I definitely think that it could be in the realm of an expansion rather than smaller DLC chapters, especially knowing that Tony Todd himself has gone on record in saying that Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is going to be an absolutely massive game, which may not only refer to the base game itself, but also any potential DLC that could be added along with it. Now, the second possibility that I think this collaborative project could be, even though I think this is probably the least likely possibility, is that we could see some type of smaller cameo roles for Yuri, Naji, and Tony within the next major Marvel game from Insomniac of Marvel's Wolverine. Considering that we obviously know that Insomniac is working on a AAA Wolverine game, and it was also previously rumored by gaming insider Jeff Grubb, who has been very accurate with the majority of his previous posts, is that he thinks that Marvel's Wolverine could end up releasing sometime next year in 2024. So if that game does actually end up releasing next year, we could see a type of small cameo from Peter Parker, Miles Morales, and possibly even Venom himself in Marvel's Wolverine, depending on how exactly the story might end up concluding for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. However, if we were to see any of those characters appear in Marvel's Wolverine, I definitely think it would be in a much smaller capacity in comparison to a supporting role. Mainly knowing that Insomniac wants to make Marvel's Wolverine an authentic Wolverine experience and make Logan the core focus of the game's story instead of trying to bring in any other massive Marvel named character. But on the flip side, if that means that we could end up seeing another bar brawl between Wolverine and Venom, then I for one am all for it. And the final possibility which I believe could occur for this collaboration is primarily in regards to a dream project which I would absolutely go nuts for if it was to be officially announced. And of course, I am talking about none other than a fully standalone AAA Venom game. Venom is easily going to be one of the biggest characters to appear within Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And knowing how popular of a character Venom is, it would be absolutely crazy if Sony were to not prioritize that character and give him the treatment that he so rightfully deserves, either by making him a playable character within Marvel's Spider-Man 2, or by simply giving him his own standalone game. But again, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 hasn't even released yet, and we don't know how exactly Insomniac is planning to carry out Venom's narrative within the game's story. So despite it being a bit too early to tell as of right now exactly what this collaboration project between Naji, Yuri, and Tony is going to be within 2024, it no matter what points to a bright future for Marvel games as a whole. And seeing how beyond passionate all these actors are for these characters, it would only make sense to me that they would want to continue playing these characters for as long as they possibly can. And whether or not that relates to a DLC expansion, a small cameo, or even a fully standalone spin-off game has yet to be determined. But as a diehard Marvel game fan myself, I for one just can't wait to see what the future has in store. And with all that said, everybody, that's the video I have for all you today, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. What do you think of this Marvel Spider-Man 2 news, and what do you think that this collaboration between Yuri, Naji, and Tony could end up being? Let me know what you think. Be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Marvel Spider-Man 2 videos like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay spectacular, Spidey fans, and until next time, peace out.